Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. So this show is going, I should have named it Basic Instinct, not like the Sharon Stone thing, but Basic Instinct as in my basic instincts to know what is going on with my project. Basic instinct meaning I have basic instincts that it may go good or it's a 50-50 chance that it may go good and it may not. But we're about to take a look blindly and vulnerably at the work. I remember getting the work back from the teacher, but I never looked to see what what he said. So this is blindly basic instincts going on, my basic instincts on what to do. So hold on, let me move this. Hold on. Because I will keep doing that. Um, um, the one thing that I love to do the most, I can't do right now. I was just telling TikTok, I said if I get anything, I would get a house the next time. Um, because I love to sing. I've been doing it since I was little. Okay, we're going in this blindly. I want y'all to see when I see exactly what the teacher is saying, that will let me know my next move and what to do. Okay, hold on. Oh, crap. Okay, I got my draft back from the tutor. Okay, meets performance requirements. Okay. That's all I wanted to know. This is not like a typical class, y'all. I have to speak in finance terms, mumbo jumbo, kerfumble, or mumble. Um, so now we got both projects. So now we can move on to the second one. Um, Now what? Okay. Oh, wait. Let's see what um tutoring. I don't even know how I got there. Oh, that's how I got there. Essay review. Yeah. Okay. They did do good. Would you recommend this service to a friend? Yes. What? They don't give me that option? No. I understood. Oh, this is mine and this is there. Come on. Hmm. delete it. Where's it at? Oh, I'm on the wrong one. Ooh, okay. Let me put that little. All right, I'll do all my stuff. Okay. First, put Excel, which is down here. Okay. I hope I put that right. Let's look at the syllabus again. Okay. MP. Okay. Just think how they felt in 1892. Like, and what I mean by that is, They were feeling themselves in 1892. I can't make bricks without clay. Data, data, data. Data is essential for making informed decisions and conclusions. Whether you're solving a mystery at Scotland Yard or making improvements in your company's new app. In this project, you use tools to review and interpret analytics in order to drive short and long-term or long-range strategic decisions and identify potential deficiencies that impede the organization's mission and goals. You will also apply strategic management theories to and practices to assess organizational performance and propose improvements, identify trends, and consider the different stages of the organization's life cycle. Successful completion of the project demonstrates your entrepreneurial thinking as well as your ability to employ quantitative. That word scares me so much. Which is math data, data of math or math data, operations and data analysis techniques to arrive at an optimal solution, to use software applications and analytics tools to inform analysis and decision making, to analyze quantitative data and the results of data inquiry and manipulation, to apply data to decisions. This project is designed, hold on, you guys. I would have just started over. This project is designed to be completed in 3 weeks. Please watch the story advancement video and read the following scenario. Then begin step 1, review principles of descriptive analysis. And this is what I'm going to read. I said, meetings on this app because the past year, I need to inform critical decisions of the app's future direction. Tom is now leading the effort as joining a special cartoon. He's helpful every day for a lot of information. That's it. Okay. Me org's leadership needs you. Let's read it over again. Because they kind of condensed it. A year has now passed since the launch of MeOrg's app Leap, which helps service members transition to the civilian workforce. Since its entry into the digital marketplace, the app has now been downloaded by over 50,000 customers globally. Though the subscription number is high, though the subscription number is higher than product forecasts predicted, the average user rating from online reviews is surprisingly low. While most users have found the app to be useful in post-military career pursuits, there have been a number of dissatisfied customers as well. NEORG annual product review is only weeks away, and upper management would like to see a plan to improve ratings on this app because it has been given substantial financial investment. Thankfully, me.org has my my I think she said my I just feel so right saying me, like we. Me.org has collected good data on the app's users over the past year. Me.org, that's like bad English. How can you mess up English? English is like the easiest language to get, and then Spanish is the second easiest language. I'm messing up English. That is so crazy. Me.org has collected good data on the app's users over the past year, which can be used to inform critical decisions of the app's future direction. Thomas Knowles, the senior management manager leading this effort, has asked you to join his special projects team. He is hopeful that the data sets will provide the information that Me.org needs in order to determine the course of action. He is looking to you for predictive analytics and strategic direction. Me.org leaderships needs you to use data analytics to determine which services are most popular among users and most effective at helping users find successful job placement in the civilian sector. This will help Me.org to focus on the areas that need improvement without changing the features that are working well. Your task is to provide a report for Thomas on descriptive and predictive performance indicators. Your report should explain what the data reveals about the app's effectiveness. Identify the services, features, and behaviors most indicative of a success. Identify gaps between the app's operative goals and strategic plan. Make recommendations for improvements and changes for the future updates. Thomas has promised to send you the necessary details to begin this project. As you move forward, you will be referencing the LEAP app and using it to support your work. Please note the data provided is fictional and any resemblance to actual people or businesses is coincidental. No, even if y'all didn't mean to do it, it's just the way of the world. Whatever we think of something, it's either already been created, about to be created, or in the making. While the videos and job descriptions are not viewable in the app for this project, bear in mind that these features will be functional for app users. Thomas Knowles. As we approach our annual product review, I wanted to provide you with some key information. I will be providing information on Elite Apps use and performance over the past year, but first I'd like you to expand your knowledge on the foundation concepts of business analytics and the tools used in the process. This includes the basic statistics. Oh, that word just really, it just goes cold over here. And related concepts such as correlation, another cold world word. You'll be analyzing histogram. Oh, I hated this shit. I hated it when I was in my university at Coppin State University. Oh man, I hate it. Cat and whiskers too. Box plots, XY scatter plots, dashboards, and other forms of data visualization. So you should read up on those as well. These concepts are the backbone of descriptive analytics process. Your understanding of these materials will ensure reform and accurate deliverables as we go forward on the annual product review. Before we get into that, let me kind of like move here. Since I don't know these all the way, I'm going to start looking at this. Step one, we're going to look at the analytics from the Leap app. Let's go to number one. Go here. Oh, it's chilly. I remember long, many moons. Oh my God, have I seen so many moons? Many moons ago, I was in between AIT and basic training, I believe, or probably between AIT or basic. I can pinpoint that. And what the intel that I heard was two NCOs talking about how they're going to put chips in the ID cards, because we had the traditional bird and a car. God dang, birdie. We had like a bird, the eagle, and it was a simple ID card, but it didn't have a chip. And I was transitioning from that ID card to one with a chip. They said if you lose those cards, you get in trouble. I don't think I ever lost my card. I know someone who lost their card. I don't know if it was on purpose or not. They know who they are. So this is how the app looks. Okay. I always just skim through it real quick. Okay, now it's time to read. Managers can use data analytics as a tool to create more evidence-based decision process. Data analytics should drive objective decisions within organizations. You can incorporate analytics into your organization's decision making to increase efficiency and success within your company. However, it is imperative to have a thorough understanding of how analytics foster better decision making. I mean, I get it, for instance, the White House have data. You have yet to see somebody from the White House go to the hood. They have their data from the hood based on government intel and different places. That's the only thing I can relate to, analytics, and then they make their decision, which, is beneficial sometimes for them, but then sometimes they are hurting good people that are in the I don't want to say hood. I just did say hood, but the ghetto, these are, like, for instance, who it could be a rush of 10 or more officers that rushes into a house where a 15-year-old, a 10-year-old, or a 17-year-old is, and they're not doing nothing. They're innocent, but they're all just looking for one person. That could scare a 15-year-old, 10-year-old, and 17-year-old because they would think that they couldn't trust the police, which the police is trust. I trust the police. Is no punchline, no but, no if, no ands or maybes, or I trust them to do their job. And then you got some that's not doing their job, but I trust the police to do their job. Today's most organizations vaguely recognize that analytics can provide substantial value. However, examining specific organizational success in data analytics provide concrete evidence of this value. Such cases also show analytics are becoming persuasive and no longer can be avoided. You see how they have this categorized? This is business analytics, but you know, the government has more types of sampling analytics, and you know, I I don't mean to keep bringing up race as a thing, but I've seen over 41 years of my life. Just as I say with other people, some people wouldn't even go to bat for me, but I'm willing to go to bat for my race because I see how some of them were set up for failure, you know, um, and I don't like that. I don't like how Black people get set up for failure. And the business analytics, there is a category about race. What are the likes and dislikes of Black people? What makes them go to drugs more? So that's all I'm saying. So anyway, health. CVS pharmaceutical companies uses behavior routing in order to segment customers. So behavior routing, I never heard of that, but that just sounds, like I said, in like you have an ice cream truck. All like in every hood has an ice cream truck, and 9 times out of 10, the children are gonna get the ice cream, the clown ice cream with the little round red dot on their nose. Like that's behavior routing. Food. Coca-Cola engineers create an algorithm to ensure the consistency of an orange juice taste, even with differences in batches of oranges. So down to the core, down to the chemistry, down to the chemistry and the chemicals that are in. They just, you think Coca-Cola is famous just because they sitting up there, they figured out an algorithm. But back in the day, these were people that we trusted back in the day, and they were giving us cocaine. Well, not us. I wasn't in the pictures in the 1920s, but these were the people that were like, it'll take away your headache, it'll take away this. This is where Coca-Cola comes from. And so you think down to an algorithm, the chemistry algorithm, that they ain't got this down to a T to give the same sensations, the same short-lived chemical legal sensations of Coca-Cola. So yeah, their engineers are, I'm not hating on Coca-Cola. I still drink a cola or two, but you have to educate yourself on what you really are putting in your body. Ever been to the dentist and they have like something this big filled with sugar, talking about, hey, look, this is how much sugar is in your Coca-Cola. Beauty. L'Oreal analyzes social media data in order to better hear customer feedback and make modifications. I have nothing to say about makeup. I wear makeup. My face was clear, but because I took low testosterone, I began to have acne, which I stopped everything. Everything was fine. And I think makeup is, I've always used makeup, even when I didn't need it. I used it, and I don't talk about it on social media, except for today. I don't really talk about it. It's just a daily thing that I do. Gas. We all need gas. Per Pete Paymax uses sensor data to measure vibrations. When abnormalities occurs, scientists can change sensors to avoid inefficiencies due to late maintenance. Everyone needs gas. I actually have to go to the gasoline station. But sensor data, I know I have to look that up. Vibrations. I wonder how many vibrations have the government measures, because you got all of the spheres. How did they even know that there were several or more spheres before getting out? Like how did they figure that out down to the core? You know, anyway, let me not go too far on this subject. Higher education. Using crowdsourcing to locate the tomb of a famous Mongolian ruler, the University of San Diego opened. Well, it was trial and error I think it was trial and error because the higher the plane went, the more it would conk out. Um, yeah, it was trial and error at first, and then people started studying it. Using crowdsourcing to locate the tomb of a famous Mongolian ruler. Wow. The University of San Diego opened up satellite images to the public in order to find viable sites to search. Now they got the access to the keys, man. Wouldn't you like to have access to the keys where you can just sit up there and type in a coordinate and you're in somebody else's house? Just, this is even crazier because they're trying to locate a tomb of a famous Mongolian ruler. Satellite images. I have to admit, we have some of the best of the best. I mean, the government has shown us. They made a movie about it, and Marty Kaiser only got paid $5 to make that movie, Enemy of the State. That is some true stuff. They can look at that piece of cotton on the floor over there, or the ant crawling, waiting to bite me in the face or something. I don't know, but they can see a lot of stuff. So they know where this Mongolian ruler is. It's just fun to watch people see how smart people will catch up to, hey, look, they probably don't have the proper way of finding it, but somebody, believe me, with all this technology, somebody knows where this Mongolian ruler is. So they give the university a clue, and some know, some don't. And, they want to see how a brain works, where they catch up to see how they're going to find it using this satellite blindly. Data analytics serve many purposes and provide businesses with various types of information that can address key questions. Accessing, understanding, and incorporating relevant information is vital to the efficiency of the business. Although there are many types of analytics, three key ones are descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive analytics. Descriptive managers work with data scientists to gather and organize data from which business insights are gleaned. Dashboards, visualizations, data mining, and knowledge discovery are some examples of descriptive analytics. Give me something I know. Data sciences, visualizations. I've never heard of data mining. That's like digging for data, probably. Knowledge discovery. The emphasis on answering the question, what has happened, gain insight and perspectives on past happenings. Sales productions, growth is an excellent place to begin with analytics. Insight and interesting visuals can often portray data in ways that leads to a better understanding of business operations and customers, which is the graphs. With predictive analytics techniques, managers and analytics can identify associations among variables and predict the likelihood of future events. Neural networks, regression analysis, machine learning, and decision trees are just a few examples of what predictive analytics approaches. With predictive analytics, a key question is to be addressed. What is likely to happen next? What has happened is descriptive analytics. What is likely to happen next is predictive. And what is this one? By examining past data and using predictive modeling techniques, it's possible to predict future outcomes for similar sets of circumstances. Combining available processing power and large, robust data sets with inexpensive, sophisticated software, data scientists are now able to rapidly. Um, I need to write this down. First, we're going to go up and we're just going to predict what is likely to happen. Prescriptive. Beyond descriptive and predictive lies prescriptive. With prescriptive analytics, analysts and functional area personnel work in tandem to use optimization to address the key question, what will be best for the organization to do next? Today is a gloomy day. I gotta get used to that sad again. I forgot what it stands for, y'all, so don't quote me on it. But basically, I know the definition is when um it's gloomy all the time for like several months at a time. And so you sometimes you get depressed. I don't think I'm depressed. I know I'm not depressed, but you can get some of those symptoms like a depression type symptoms because not enough melatonin or melanin, whichever one it is. Not melatonin, melanin. I had to cancel that melatonin thing, but not enough melanin. And it's like cloudy. I don't know. It's just so gloomy. Like every day is a day that you go to a funeral. That's what kind of day it is. I noticed that every time I went to a funeral, it was like a gloomy day. And it's like it's a gloomy day for several months. What would be best for the organization to do next? Okay. This is the easy part. Some example of prescriptive analytics techniques could include business rules, decision making, and optimization models, simulation, and management science models. Currently, most organizations making extensive use of descriptive analytics and reactive analytics, which is to describe past outcomes. However, the use of prescriptive predictive analysis, a proactive analytic approach, is growing because the business value in predicting likely future events. So reactive, let's write that down. Reactive is past outcome. Wait, and predictive, what is likely to happen. Retail and marketing, communications, analyzing claims for fraud, healthcare. Prescriptive analytics, simulations, optimization models are on the rise. In the near future, artificial intelligence will be able to autom- automate more of the analytics effort. This means data analytics will soon move towards cognitive computing, in which artificial intelligence makes data analysis more smarter and easier to use. Generally, over time, organizations progress from descriptive to predictive to prescriptive analytics as they gain confidence in using analytics. Organization needs three types of working together to address key questions. The manager's role is to encourage progress across the organization no matter what stage the analytical journey the organization finds itself in. It's 3:11 p.m. Key steps in developing an organization analytical maturity include keeping up with the current trends, trying new ideas and analytic approaches, increasing the skill set of the analysis function. Here are 8 key steps towards developing analytical maturity. Each step represents an increase in both organization, business intelligence, and competitive advantage. Standard reporting, what happened? That's descriptive. Added reporting, how many, often, and where. What is exactly the problem? What actions are needed? Why is this happening? Let me write that down. Things to watch for. It's a mistake to assume that the use of analytics will automatically guarantee better decision making or improve businesses or business outcome by default. Haphazard or inappropriate approaches may be misleading or even point to erroneous conclusions. Evidence-based decision-making will outperform intuition only when carefully and thoughtfully undertaken. Data analytics should be a primary source for decision-making, but checks should be in place in order to assure that the insights gleaned from data are viable. Beyond the normal technical problems with analytics, poor data quality, addressing the wrong problem, improper use of analytic techniques, inability to explain or justify results. There are considerations that sometimes arise regarding analytics. Beware of findings that aren't true. Sometimes patterns of data do not represent the actual population or rule. Spurious correlations can and do occur. Robust validation of models must always accompany model building and interpretation. Beware of findings that are true but not useful. Beware of findings that are true but not useful. Conclusion. Hold on. Let's reread this. Beware of findings that are not true. Sometimes pattern data do not represent the actual population or the rule. Spurious correlations can and do occur. Robust validation models must always accompany model building and interpretation. Beware of findings that are true but not useful. Occasionally, analysts and decision makers will frame problems poorly, leading to analytics efforts to address problems that are trivial. Avoid wasting key analytic access, time, money, expertise, or pursuing poorly framed problems. Proper and thorough framing of every analytic effort is mandatory. Data analytics have reached tipping point for most organizations. Numerous success stories are available for almost any industry that illustrates the power of analytics approaches to augment human judgment. Different levels and types of analytics can help address specific questions and problems, and a combination of types can best leverage the values of analytics. Periodically assessing the organization's analytic progress will show whether the organization is making the most of its analytics capabilities. To help this effort, managers must understand data analytics. Familiarity with the advantages and limitations of data analytics is paramount to effectively using power of analytics for improved decision making. The use of statistics starts with, I know what it is, I hate it. Analyze the population, the entire collection of items the researcher wants to describe. For example, suppose a dentist wants to know whether to hire a root canal specialist. The dentist decides to study the population of patients in the state to see if there is large enough need for root canal procedures. To find out if the frequency of procedure is increasing, they decide to survey the dental practice in the state to find out how many root canals were performed by each practice over the past 10 years. This population is rather large, so it would be too expensive to examine the entire population. The dentist decides to sample 25 dentist practice and calculate the relevant statistic from the sample. Statistics are numbers that represent properties of the samples from a population that statisticians want to study. A sample represents a group of the population from which a statistician wants to inference about the entire population. Each time you take a sample and calculate a statistic, you will get a different number. However, a parameter, which is a property of a complete population, is always the same. For example, suppose someone wants to know the average birth weight of an infant born in Maryland in 2016. Is it greater than 7.5 pounds? The population consists of all the infants born in 2016. If the statistician averaged all the birth weights of the member of the entire population and found that the average was 8 pounds, the statistician would have calculated a population parameter. This parameter will never change. However, if the statistician looking at a sample of the birth weight and found the sample average was 7.75 pounds, then the statistician has calculated a statistic. If a different statistic took a different sample and found the average weight sample was 7.25 pounds, this is also a statistic. Notice the statistics change depending on the member. Notice that the statistics change depending on the members of the sample chosen. You use these statistics to estimate the population parameters. Descriptive and inferential. Descriptive statistics summarize data, illustrate the properties of a population or sample. Statisticians use several different statistics, mean, median, mode, variance, standard deviation, to illustrate the properties of the sample, as a single statistic cannot give the statistician a complete picture of the data collected. The use of the statistic is descriptive of the sample. You cannot assume the population parameters from this data. Statisticians use inferential statistics to make complete or general comments about the population as a whole. When a dentist collects data from the sample of 25 different practices, descriptive statistics can describe that data by examining their trends, means, medians, modes, etc. However, the dentist does not infer anything about the total root canal procedures without using inferential statistics such as hypothesis testing and regression to apply the results to the same population. There are 4 steps used in statistical analysis: collection, analysis, interpretation, and presentation. To learn more about each step. Collection. Statisticians start a survey process by designing how they are going to collect the data. The statistician will design the collection process with the hopes of getting a sample that represents the population, since they would use their collected data to make inferences about the population they're studying. The second stage of statistical survey is using the mean, median, and mode, right? Descriptive and inferential statistics. Yes. General comments. After the data is collected and analyzed, the statistician then interprets the results of the survey. Does the survey show a relationship between the variables that are being studied? The statistician will use the analysis to answer that question. Each step in statistical analysis can have problems that must overcome to reach reliable and valid statistics. Collection and bias. Collection of the data have a bias that makes the sample non-representative of the population you are examining. For example, if a pollster who wants to know who will win the upcoming presidential election were to sample too many Democrats or too many Republicans, the sample could become non-representative of the voting public. Bias is one of the reasons a president poll can be incorrect because it's very difficult to reach a correct representative sample. Then just get 15 people on one side and 15 people on another side. I think this whole um, shutdown is just a complete clown show. People are hurting. Are the statistics being used correctly? Incorrect analysis of the data. Are the statistics being used correctly? Or are they measuring something that is not what the study is designed to measure? For example, if you want to know if smoking can be linked to lung cancer, you can collect samples from the population in a heavy polluted area. You might be measuring the effect of smoke instead of the effects of smoking on the population. Skew interpretations. What population was used to collect with the data? This question goes to the heart of the research study. Statisticians could take a census which collects data from every member of the entire population. However, this process can be time-consuming, expensive, or even destructive. For example, if a car manufacturer wants to test how a car designed to find out if it could withstand a 10-mile per hour head-on crash, the entire line of new cars will be destroyed if the manufacturer tested the entire population. Most statistical studies do not take census. They rely on a sample from the population and inferring the population parameters from the samples. These samples, if correctly taken, are usually a reliable method of to find information about the population, but if they're taken incorrectly, they can skew the results. Question bias can skew many surveys. If the survey is designed with emotionally charged questions, the questioner can influence the participants' responses. The person reading and interpreting the survey should always know what questions were asked and how they were asked. The survey can also be skewed by the presentation of survey data. For example, if the researcher concludes that there has been 50% increase from year to year in the number of wolves in a forecasted area, it is important to know what that increase actually represents. Did the number of wolves increase from 2 to 3, from 500 to 750? There is a big difference between those two ranges. Finally, the data can be skewed if the researcher mistakes correlation with forecastation. If the two events correlate, it doesn't mean one caused the other. Finally, the presentation of data will be useless. Collection, analysis, interpretation of the data are done incorrectly. Well, one of the first things a statistician does in linear regression is attempt to establish whether or not two variables correlate. Excel can be helpful in finding a correlation. Consider the following scenario. D, E, and F wants to know if there's a relationship between how much they spend on advertising and how much of a product they sell in the same month. So how much they spend on advertising, which is radio, um, papers. That's the only two I can think of. And being on TV, how much a product they sell in the same month. So how much they advertise and how much the same product they sell in the same month. Since they believe there is a relationship between these two variables, they would like to be able to predict the number of orders they will receive depending on the number of advertising dollars they spend that month. They're planning to spend 50,000 on advertising next month and would like to know how many orders to expect. They hired a statistician to look at the year's worth of sales on and advertising to find the answer. The table below shows the information they sent to the statistician. How much are the orders? Enter the chart in Excel. I feel like I'm going back into high school. Anyway, oh man, click the data tab. Hold on. Click the data tab right here. Got it. In the menu bar of Excel. Click data analysis all the way to the right. Where is data analysis? They said all the way to the right. I don't see it. I see what if analysis. Whoa. How did that pop up? We know that. I don't need that, but I need this one. Click data analysis. Do I have Grok? Okay. Okay. So data analysis would be where on the Excel. Go to File, Options. There's not an option button. Okay. Oh, fiddlesticks, fiddlesticks, fiddlesticks. There we go. Where is that at? Oh, you go to data analysis, cancel. Choose correlation. Let me write down this equation, this ninth grade equation. Lord. Equation of a line. Linear regression is based on the algebraic equation y equal bx plus a, where y equals the independent variable x. When it comes to math, man, either you get it or you don't. You can learn it, yes. Either you get it, you don't. You find a connection, because it's all about seeing the connection within all of them, getting the formula and seeing the connection within all of them. And it may sound easy, but it's definitely, I've learned, it's not easy. It's like driving in the fast lane. Okie doke. Scatter plots is a graphical way of representing data that has two variables, x and y. Okay. These are things most likely I would refer back to when we're doing the actual exercise. B is 1.0936. How did you get that? Go back up. B2C13. Well, I know what I have to do. I'm going to make sure I read very carefully. And wait. Data visualization is viewed by many disciplines as a modern equivalent of visual communication. It involves the creation and study of visual representation of data, meaning that it has been extracted in some schematic form, including attributes or variables for the units of information. A primary A primary goal of data visualization is to communicate information clearly and efficiently using statistical graphs, plots, and informational graphs. Numerical data could be encoded using dots, lines, or bars to visually communicate a quantitative message. Effective visualization helps users analyze and reason about data and evidence. It makes complex data more accessible, understandable, and usable. Users may have a particular analytical task in mind, making comparisons, understanding causality and design principle of the graphic. Showing comparisons, showing causality follows the task. Tables are generally used for tasks where users will look up a specific measurement, while charts are used to show patterns of or relationships in the data for one or more variables. It's raining. Data visualization is both an art and science. It is viewed as a branch of descriptive statistics by some, but also grounded theory development tool by others. In the age of the internet, data is generally faster than ever by both internet activity and expanding numbers of sensors in the environment, such as satellites. This is referred to as big data. Processing, analyzing, and communicating this data each present ethical and analytical challenges for data visualization. The field of data science has emerged to help address this challenge. Data visualization refers to the techniques used to communicate data and information by encoding as it visual objects. So I'm going to stop here. Let me see what I got. I don't care about the reading part. I just wanted to see what I had to do. So, overview. So we got data visualization that we're on, and we've read that. Okay, I'm going to give myself 3 days, 19th, 20th, 21st, 3 days to complete all of this, to get to the discussion, because I want to make sure I understand it. And then more reading. So, hmm, 3 days. So the 21st, read 2 hours on and off camera, my work. I left off at data visualization. Okay, everybody. So I left off at data visualization, and I don't want to overload my brain. I'm writing notes, the important notes, and I got 2 more segments before I get to the discussion. So if I do 2 hours on, maybe read by myself, 2 hours off camera, um, or an hour, um, I can get to the discussion, and then this is vigorous reading. Um, and if I apply myself, I should be able to do it. It's basically layers building up to what we have to do. Um, so you can't leave when it deals with math. You can't shortcut. You have to read, especially if you don't know some of the material, because that's going to be a gut-wrenching failure for you if you um, don't read the material. I kind of like internalized it. Um, Statistics is really, it's like seeing that word, like I'm like, I can't believe I did it twice. No, I did it and got my bachelor's, and then I did it and got my master's. But they just bum rushes you with this. You thinking, hey, I'm gonna get statistics and a thesis at the end of the program. They just bombard you, and you like, where did this come from? I kind of knew in the beginning. I was like, I asked them. I was like, you know, am I gonna need a tutor? He's like, as long as you learn, I will pass you. And I'm like, wow, okay. So, and I like to learn. That was the deal breaker. Well, it was no deal breaker. I like to learn. You'll pass me if I learn. So, why not? You know, um, I I don't know what else to say other than I'll try my best. I'll try my best. When they give me the project finally and tell me exactly what I need to do, then I'll work on it with integrity, as I usually do. You know, I work on it with integrity and resilience, and I'll try to do the best that I can do. That's all you can do is the best that you can do, you know, and that's pretty much it. So I don't have no ill will or nothing bad to say. Um, I kind of figured that whoever just hopped on wanted me to see that they were texting me and wanted to know, what expression I was going to make, but I know where it's coming from. So I cannot believe, and I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say, I don't even want to think that I'm being harassed by um, someone who is on Trump's camp. I'm not, if you don't believe me, then find out who's been texting me all these text messages, because I've been stopped with I've been hit stop with the 88022 number and the something digit five start with it. Like, I've been stopped, and yet I keep getting these texts, but it's okay. I should keep playing it or putting it on my Facebook page as proof, that I'm not lying. Anyway, I didn't mean to mess up this footage, UMGC. It just, I happened to look at it as it was, I look up and it was just there at the exact right moment. Um, so this is a challenging, very challenging thing that um, the only thing they can actually say about me that needs to get better is my writing. Understanding concepts and speaking about concepts is something that I know how to do. But writing a concept or some type of financial analysis, executive summary, or descriptive analysis is something totally different. What you understand, you have to bomb it on paper, and you have to get a clear, descriptive, statistical understanding. And that is not easy to do if you're not used to writing papers about statistics. So, yeah. But anyway, next time I come back on here, it's 4:08. When I get back on here, I will be doing the analysis, virtual studios, and putting people on to Apple Podcasts today. I'm running a little behind on that. So that is where I'm going to do. I'm going to try to do as much as I can. Um, so let me write it down. Um, Apple Podcasts, um, Reels, and movies. So I have to give a big shout out to her because she gave a big shout out to me one time and I appreciate her. So Miss Honey loves you too. I just noticed with your name say Miss Honey loves you too. Yeah. I just wanted to say hi and I hope that you have a wonderful day. But yeah, so I will get off of here and eat this. I haven't even ate yet. And y'all definitely take care, be safe, and I will see you guys a little later. Probably it's going to take me at least 50 minutes to eat and just watch what's going on out there in the world of the television. You know, I know when I watch Cairo News, it's going to be about this one guy talking about your finances is feeling a little low. Do this with your credit cards. Make sure you spend 30% on your credit cards and pay for 100% for a financial boost in your credit cards. And I'll be watching it and I'll be like, okay, okay, are you okay? You know, but it used to be about flowers, you know, matting the flowers and doing whatever, you know, like which flowers to have during the spring, summer, and how to do this and that with your flowers. And then it started repeating with the guy that talk about the credit, you know. Hopefully I get to catch some real news, but I try to stay away from Fox News. I try to stay away from Fox News. You know, I love Fox News. I love ABC, CBS, NBC. You know, they all give a different critique of what's going on out there. Whether they like each other or not, they all give a critique of what's out there in the world. I don't think that's fake news. You know, they've been doing pretty good keeping up with the current news events, you know. So that's just my opinion, you know. I'm running as a independent. I cannot wait to get that independent because it's just so close to independence, you know. Not many people run as an independent. Bernie Sanders ran as an independent. I don't even want to talk about my opinion because it still stands for, you know, he stood his ground. I'm standing my ground, but yeah, I'll end it there. Take care, y'all.
Never waste my time.